What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Harrison Graham here with another edition of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, we're going to hit you guys with the latest Chiefs rumors. But before we hop into that, don't miss out. Don't miss out on any of the hottest rumors, news, everything circulating this team. Just because things have slowed down this offseason, we're kind of entering that dead period. We've still got a lot to cover. OTA is coming around the corner. We'll have mandatory minicamp in June. Lots of stuff to break down. Still some free agency stuff. So hit that sub button. We're going to have you covered all year long. Here's a juicy rumor that's out there. Dalvin Cook, could he be on the move, and could the Chiefs be interested? The Vikings are expected to move on from Cook, whether it's via trade or release. They, of course, traded Za'Darius Smith last week, and could Kansas City be a team that is linked to Dalvin Cook? You look at his past 4 seasons here, and he's been pretty consistent right now. His last 2 years certainly weren't as good as 2020, but he's still solid. 4.4 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, almost 1,200 yards rushing. Now, the average has dipped a bit. It's gone from 5.1 to 4.7 to 4.4. So I'm not going to sit here and say Dalvin Cook is a superstar running back at this point in time, but he's still pretty good. Now, here's the problem. Dalvin Cook's contract, if he gets traded, $11 million is what you'd have to take on the cap hit. So I got to think that if a trade were to get worked out, he's got to be taking a pay cut. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, cut that in half, 5.5, 6. I think that's probably more the realm of what he's worth at this point in his career. So if he wants to negotiate a trade and stay under contract and not have to get cut and sign a cheap deal, I think he's going to have to be willing to take a pay cut. Now, you look at the depth chart, doesn't make sense for the Chiefs. Ironically, my comp for Dalvin Cook on this roster is Isaiah Pacheco. I think they're very similar physical backs. Obviously, Cook's best days are probably behind him, whereas Pacheco's are probably ahead of him. You got Jarrett McKinnon as your scat back. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Deneric Prince. Now, as it sits, the Chiefs don't really need a running back. Now, could they flip Edwards-Helaire elsewhere and then take on Dalvin Cook if he took a pay cut? Maybe a Pacheco, Cook, a McKinnon trio would be interesting, but I'm still not sure it makes sense, even if it's at $5 or $6 million. Like, do you really need Dalvin Cook if you're Kansas City? Like, he can be a lead back somewhere. I don't think he'd be your lead back here, unless you just don't think Pacheco's ready for that. But second half of last year, he was ready for that, and I thought he handled it pretty well. So I don't see Kansas City being a fit. I've seen some rumors that maybe they'd be interested, but definitely not at the current price tag, and I'm not so sure even on a reduced price tag. Now, if he were to get cut, sign him for cheap, that's a different story because I think he's better than Edwards-Helaire. But beyond that, I'm not super interested. What do you guys think, though? Should the Chiefs trade for Dalvin Cook? Type T for trade or P for pass. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. Let me know what you guys think, T for trade or P for pass. Quinnen Williams trade rumors continue to circulate. We'll talk about that next here on the Chiefs Report. Williams and the Jets reportedly remain far apart on contract negotiations. You look at Quinnen Williams' bio, and, you know, athletes do this stuff, right? They wipe their Twitter, they wipe their Instagram, they change it, kind of send messages to the org they're with. Defensive tackle for blank. He's eliminating Jets from his social media life, if you will. He also sent another little message to New York with his latest retweet by pointing out the new contract that Dexter Lawrence received, which is 4 years and $90 million. There's another report out there that Quinnen Williams wants $25 to $30 million per year, which would top Jeffrey Simmons and what he got paid. So could the Chiefs be players for Quinnen? We'll talk about that here in just a second as well. But first, get yourself a new lid. These Chiefs draft hats that really can be worn all year long. They're not really draft-centric. I just think they're sweet hats. They came out for the draft, but I'm going to be rocking mine all year long. Chatsports.com/Chiefs draft hats. That is the link to go pick these up. Put that link in the comments and in the description. Different styles. You got the snapbacks, flat bills, curve bill style, whatever flavor is for you. Different color schemes as well. Chatsports.com/Chiefs draft hats. Use that link, click it. It's in the description and comments of the video. That way you can pick yourself up a brand new hat today. Now, if he gets his wish of getting $25 to $30 million per year, that makes him the second highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. Now, Quinnen Williams is damn good, and this is kind of how it goes. Guys get paid. You want to top the next guy, but Is he better than Jeffrey Simmons? Is he better than Daron Payne? I think he's definitely in that conversation. Now, you know who needs a new pay raise is Chris Jones, who's looking for an extension as well. He's better than a lot of the guys ahead of him, but, you know, you sign when you sign and people pass you. Quinnen Williams had 12 sacks last year, 28 QB hits. I mean, the guy's a stud, had a breakout year. He's currently slated to play out his rookie contract here in 2023. If you heard that in the background, we just had the loudest thunderbolt here in Dallas, Texas that we've had in quite a while. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe that's a sign that Brett Veach should or maybe should not trade for Quinnen Williams. Who the hell knows? But could you imagine pairing him with Chris Jones? I mean, that would be unbelievable just when you think about it from a, oh my gosh, good luck blocking both these dudes standpoint. But let's be real. Don't get your hopes up. It would be an awesome pairing with him and Chris Jones, but Chiefs are tight on cap space. They could make it work because he's still under contract for this year, so they can extend him and move money down the road. But the Jets are trying to contend. They're not trading Quinnen Williams to Kansas City, at least I don't think. They would have to get a haul. Like, if the Chiefs offered like 2 first-round picks, maybe they would consider it. But beyond that, I don't think the Jets move him to KC or anywhere. I think they will opt to keep him because they're trying to win with Aaron Rodgers this year. Now, send in your best Quinnen Williams trade ideas. Throw them out there. You know, how much are you willing to give up for Quinnen Williams? And if you do you then flip Chris Jones? Who knows? I mean, maybe Brett Veach would opt to do that. Just keep the younger guy. I don't know. I'd like to keep them both, but just another thought that could factor in. Let's get to the latest on Frank Clark as Chris Jones continues to clamor for Clark's return to Kansas City. He's been pretty consistent posting on social media, bringing the Shark back, all kinds of stuff out there over the past several days from Chris Jones. And now Frank Clark has acknowledged the post with this quote tweet there. He says, "This are shit." Had to kind of asterisk that one out. Chris Jones and Frank Clark are pretty much best friends. They're partners in crime on the defensive line. Obviously, Chris Jones wants to bring his boy back, and I certainly understand that. And look, it all comes down to money. They cut Frank Clark to save $21 million in cap space, dead cap hit of about $7 million. So if you bring him back, I don't think they're going to give him more than about $3 or $5 million because you're already paying him $7 in a sense with the dead cap hit. If you give him $5 million, you're paying him $12 million. I don't think the Chiefs are going to go higher than that allotted amount for one player of Frank Clark's caliber for the salary cap table this year because he's a good player, not a great player. Now, you could argue in the postseason he's a great player, and for a team like the Chiefs who's going to be in the postseason, that's certainly valuable. He's been a cornerstone piece in 2 Super Bowl runs. In 2019, he had 5 sacks in the playoffs. Last year, he had 2.5. I mean, he's been a guy that's made a big difference in the postseason, but the reason they cut him is his cap hit of $28 million was just never going to make sense with what he produces on a week-in and week-out basis. So we'll see where things sit. That's kind of where they sit now. But I am open to the idea of bringing him back if the money makes sense. What do you guys think? Should the Chiefs re-sign Frank Clark? Go ahead and type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Get your votes in down in the comments section below. Y for yes or in for no. Little news item here. The Chiefs have signed Kansas State UDFA Iko Boyedo. I probably botched that. I think that's about right, though. I liked watching him play in the Big 12. You guys know I'm a Big 12 guy. I watched TCU play K-State twice in person this year. He tested really well, ran around a 4.3 in the 40. Had a good workout during rookie minicamp, and now he is signed. So who knows? Maybe he competes for a roster spot, practice squad. He's got intriguing athletic traits and speed, so could be a guy you put on the P squad and further develop. Obviously local, playing at Kansas State, so certainly like to see that. And he rejoins a former teammate, Felix Uzoma. All right, that's it for today's Chiefs News and Rumors segment. Subscribe if you want more coverage here on the Chiefs Report. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Let's keep this train rolling, and we'll bring you guys more videos on a daily basis.